So it looks like today's a new chapter. We're gonna see what happens. I am on my way to Buda here in Austin. I came back from Lake Havasu, and I noticed gas is just ridiculous. So what can I do to make my travel more affordable, but get a motorcycle? So I'm on my way out to Buda, as I said, from the other side of Austin, and I'm probably going to be picking up a Harley, and for $3,000 bucks, so $3,000, and the guy takes Bitcoin. He put an ad in the paper and said, yeah, we'll take Bitcoin, food, all this other different stuff as a joke. So I contacted him and said, so you'll take Bitcoin? And he's like, well, I was joking, but yeah. So the guy doesn't have a wallet or anything. I'm going to go over here and set him up with a Bitcoin wallet and possibly buy a Harley with some Bitcoin and make my travels a little more interesting.
Really good home.
Woohoo! There's a Bitcoin Harley here. I just bought me a Harley with Bitcoin from this guy at Facebook Marketplace. So we're gonna take this thing, put it out on the road.
Mexico bound.
Yeah.
I'll get some plates first.
Yeah. Yes, got the Harley with the Bitcoin. Got her fixed. Got some new tires. Got my plates. I'm ready to rock and roll. Here she is. It's an 02 Harley Sportster 883. And my first voyage is actually on a pub crawl out in Marble Falls. So I'm at this beautiful church that kind of marks the beginning spot of one of the most amazing roads you can drive around central Texas. And this goes all the way to, well, basically Llano, out that way. Buchanan Dam ends out there. But I'm going 30 miles, and this is some of the most amazing road, as I said. So what a trip. Gonna go join my friends from Float and to do this pub crawl, trying to find some sponsors for the Float Festival over in Gause, Texas. Stay tuned. You come to Turkey Bend, especially when the bluebonnets are out. This is actually a little bit late in the year, but here's what we have. They're just everywhere. I'm sure the camera's not doing justice, but it's just acres and acres of these bluebonnets. It's beautiful. In years past, there were actually a lot more bluebonnets here, but they did some work on the park and it disturbed them. So anyway, Turkey Bend recreation area off of 1431, halfway between Marble Falls and Little Vista. It is one hell of a sight for sure. I've spent a week, up to a week out here before. Used to bring my kids out here in jet skis and everything, and of course you're just right here on Lake Travis, on the far end of Lake Travis. So beautiful. Never miss it if you can. And there's a look at the beast. Man, well, definitely one hell of a good day for my first ride. Well, today's rides went so well. I think I'm going to take a longer one. I'm all packed up. I got my backpacks, all my camera equipment, and a couple of changes of clothes. And I'm hitting the road. I'm heading out from Austin, Texas, actually Leander, out to Lake Havasu City, because Jonna drowned the jet ski. She sunk the jet ski, and they pull it out of the water and everything, but I got to go back and check on it and make sure that everything's all right. I'll probably have to blow water out of the engine or whatever it takes, but get back out there and take care of that. And then, end of the month, Float Fest. That's going to be good. So join me on the road. Well, there it is, the sun going down. So I'm riding off into the sunset on my Bitcoin Harley. So I had a short trip earlier today into Marble Falls from Leander. Yeah, 80 mile round trip. And right now I'm going to test this son of a bitch out and run it out to Lake Havasu. So that's 1,185 miles each way. And see what happens. Woohoo! Well, that ain't the sunset, that's the sunrise. I've been going all night long. And it's a cold son of a bitch out here for a springtime. Man, oh man. Riding a bike long distance is nothing like covering ground in a car. Your butt needs a break every once in a while, for sure. It's a whole different experience. But boy, that is a beautiful sunrise. Too bad it's at my back. I won't be seeing that when the sun comes up all the way, though. Well, I'm almost to Van Horn. I've already passed Fort Stockton. Van Horn, I've got another, I don't know, 200-ish miles before I'm in New Mexico. So who knows how this is going to go today. Got to stop a lot more frequently for gas. And like I said, my butt needs a rest. Well, I've been on the road for 24 hours exactly because it's sundown again. Yeah, there she goes. Anyway, this time I'm outside of Phoenix. I've got wind burn on my face. Yeah, I expect it to be a lot farther than I am right now. It's 24 hours. Normally to get to here would be like 14 hours. So, yeah, a lot of time resting, pulling over, stretching my legs and my butt, and yeah, this is not for the faint of heart, for sure. But, geez, I think I got another 5 hours or more to get to Lake Havasu. I haven't been asleep yet, and I only had like 3 hours of sleep the night before. I probably will only make it to Phoenix. We'll see. Well, what the hell's a trip without a few bumps in the road? So, like, moments after the sunset video I did yesterday, the motorcycle broke down, I don't know, several miles down the road, and literally it was a bad battery. Battery went out on me, so I was able to limp to a truck stop that was right by this just wonderful hotel right next to the frickin' interstate. And so it took me all morning to get it all figured out, but got her done. Getting back on the road, heading on to Lake Havasu. I ended up in some horrible place called Eloy, where there's nothing. There's no auto parts stores or anything. But how do you like my wind burn? Look at there. I look like a reverse raccoon where my sunglasses were. Like, I never sunburned, but man, that wind did a number on me. I'm sure it's a combination of it, but the wind was at my back when my face started burning, so I'm pretty sure it's just like wind chapped or wind burn, or I don't know, whatever it is, but it frickin' hurts. So on for the rest of the journey. say, who you calling? I said, where you going? You're going home. Go to Kansas. Yeah. So Jonah and I, we're out here enjoying the sunset. Is that a thumbs up? All right. So I made it to Lake Havasu, and I've accomplished what I came out for. Jonah sunk the jet ski, and you know, I didn't even think about filming it. It would have been cool to do that, but basically as soon as I pulled up there, you know, I popped the spark plugs out, sopped as much water out of the, you know, the intake on the carburetor as I could, and then started turning it over, pumped all the water out of the engine, popped those plugs back in, and that sucker fired right up. You know, it ran a little rough at first, but that was it. We got it back in the water, and I think it runs better now. You know, add a little sea foam to get some of the, you know, moisture out of the engine, and everything is fine. So I knew that if she would have taken it to a shop, they would have just charged her out the butt for what essentially would have been 5 minutes of work. So I told her, no, just, hey, I just got the motorcycle. I really want to go on a ride, so I will come out and fix this sucker for you. And it is fixed. So I'm leaving Havasu now. So far the journey, you know, the battery died on me outside of Phoenix in this weird little town called Eloy, where there were no services. I mean, I had to drive like 30 minutes away to get a battery from a car parts store, and got me back on the road. Then before I got to Havasu, I bought gas at the Pilot, and bad gas. That's the second time I've had bad gas from a Pilot. I had another time in Utah where my truck, I was driving up to meet John on Yellowstone Park, and I had bought it after Moab. I left Moab, and you know, I was working my way up through Salt Lake, and there was a Pilot there at the turnoff on that highway, and bad gas then. I almost thought that I needed a new fuel pump again or something. So I almost went and paid a bunch of money for no reason at all. Even had a mechanic look at it and tell me, oh yeah, your pump is out. And it just turned out to be bad gas. So I'm gonna be a little bit more careful about buying my gas from Pilot from now on. Yeah, so I'm taking the scenic route back, so kind of through Flagstaff and Albuquerque and all that. I came I-10 from Austin, and on the way back we're going to take the 40, which is not far from Lake Havasu anyway, and head on out. Hopefully, you know, I'll catch a little cooler weather and maybe, you know, see some different sights. And a few trials and tribulations. I mentioned in other portions of this video. I didn't realize how hard it was to ride a motorcycle long distance, and it is definitely hard. So I will make some more stops on the journey, and see you in Austin, Texas, on the way to Float Festival, FLOTE Fest.com, if you want to check that out. If I even get this up in time, who knows. It's going to be a cool camping thing out there in Gause, Texas, outside of Austin. Actually, it's nearer to College Station, probably. Freedom type festival for people who want to find alternative ways to live, like I do. Well, things are getting good now. Hopping off the 40, getting our ass onto Route 66. So I'm going to ride this into Flagstaff and see how it works out. I made it past Flagstaff. It's getting cold and highly windy. I don't know if you can hear the wind. And it's big fucking fire up the mountains. That fire. I don't know. They said a crater fire must be pretty big. I don't know. All I know is it's cold and windy, and I'm fucking getting the hell out of here. Please. I'm not sure what kind of place I landed in here in Gallup, New Mexico, but I woke up to this. Colonial Motel in Gallup, New Mexico. It's got its own cops hanging out here. I wake up to knocking on the door, and the neighbors, it's the cops doing a wellness check, asking some kid if their mother's there. There were people knocking on doors all night long. It was crazy. Obviously, I'm in a crack house in Gallup, New Mexico. But, you know, I was looking for a cheap place to sleep, and I got one. Journey. I covered 2,500 miles on the round trip. I rolled in about 5 a.m. in the morning. Totally exhausted. I think I hit Lubbock at, I don't know, sundown, and then drove all through the night as much as I could to get here, and just beat a rainstorm, thank God, because I didn't have plastic to cover my stuff. A lot to learn on this journey, for sure. Will I do it again? Yeah, I'm probably that stupid. I'll probably do it again. That being said, stay tuned. We got lots of crazy adventures all throughout the Northwest. Starting very soon, we'll be taking off from Lake Havasu, working our way up through Tahoe and all the other beautiful sites, Yosemite, all that good stuff. And, you know, I still have tons of stuff I've never even released from Mexico. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment, all that good crap. Enjoy the journey.